The Yemeni military's efforts to address the crisis in Gaza by seeking negotiations have shown signs of progress. Their focus on preventing ships from supplying resources to the occupied area and enhancing its military capabilities has resulted in notable changes. As a result, several major shipping companies have chosen to cease using the Red Sea route for delivering goods to the occupied Palestinian territories. This shift marks a significant development for the people of Gaza, who have faced continuous hardship due to conflicts with the occupying forces. Our commitment to shedding light on stories often overlooked by mainstream media remains firm. We welcome engagement and support in sharing this content to raise awareness. Consider subscribing to stay informed about developments in Palestine. Initially, these shipping companies relied on the collective efforts of the International Coalition for Maritime Safety, led by the United States, to address the Yemeni concerns. However, it has become evident that resolving this issue requires diplomacy and adhering to Yemen's demands to ensure stability in the Red Sea region. Most participating partners have declined suggestions to deploy their ships to secure the vital Red Sea waterways. This stance may have signaled to the United States the importance of urging Israel to halt its bombing campaign in Gaza. Nevertheless, while there have been indications of a changing landscape, the United States still appears hesitant to exert pressure on Israel to cease its actions. Both countries, Israel, regarded by some as an apartheid regime, and the United States, criticized for its support, face mounting international pressure to halt the ongoing conflict. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's visit to the Middle East for consultations reflects concerns about the potential escalation of the Israel-Palestinian conflict into a larger regional crisis. And with the people of Yemen supporting the move by the army, there's increasing need for the USA to act now or never to secure peace in Palestine.
We came out today to confirm our continued support for the Palestinian cause and Gaza in particular. We will not stop doing this, and we don't care about any alliances, as we are carrying out our religious and humanitarian duty. The Security Council was supposed to protect children and women and leave the siege on the Palestinians, but unfortunately it did not do so, and is even trying to prevent that.
In the streets to support our brothers and our fathers in Gaza, and we will support all the people in Gaza with our blood, all the Yemeni people.
Meanwhile, U.S. State Department spokesman Matt Miller announced Secretary Blinken's upcoming itinerary, which includes stops in Turkey, Greece, Jordan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Israel, the West Bank, and Egypt. This visit marks Blinken's fourth trip to the Middle East since the Palestinian counteroffensive began on October 7th. Originally scheduled to arrive in Israel at week's end, Blinken's arrival has been postponed to early next week.
Over the course of the next week, the Secretary will visit Turkey, Greece, Jordan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Israel, the West Bank, and Egypt.
During his visit to Israel, Blinken aims to discuss the transition to the next phase, following the recent conflict, focusing on facilitating the return of Palestinians to their homes and neighborhoods as hostilities diminish. However, differing viewpoints exist regarding the motives behind this visit. While the stated purpose is to aid in de-escalating tensions and potentially prevent further conflict in the region by urging Israel to reduce its military activities, concerns persist about the potential destabilization of the Red Sea and broader regional repercussions if Israel continues its bombing campaign in Gaza. Israel's decision to block Palestinians from returning to certain areas in northern Gaza, citing ongoing resistance activities, remains a point of contention. Recent statements from the U.S., including Miller's remarks, signal an escalation in calls for Israel to permit Palestinians return to these areas, especially where homes have been destroyed during the conflict. The international response to developments in the Red Sea region has notably influenced major shipping companies' decisions. For instance, Maersk, a significant shipping company, has opted to avoid the Red Sea route due to security concerns. Following attacks on its merchant ships by Yemeni rebels, Maersk declared its decision to reroute all vessels away from the Red Sea and Suez Canal, choosing instead to navigate around Africa via the Cape of Good Hope due to the current instability and heightened security risks in the region. Earlier, the shipping giant announced the suspension of passage along that route until further notice, following an incident involving the Singapore-flagged Maersk Hangzhou. During the incident on Sunday, the container vessel, owned by Denmark and operating under their authority, en route from Singapore to Port Suez in Egypt, reported being hit by a missile while passing through the Bab al-Mandab Strait. Since November 18, there have been 25 reported attacks on commercial vessels navigating the southern Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. A coalition of 12 nations, led by the United States, collectively urged Yemen's army to cease these attacks immediately and release unlawfully detained vessels and their crews. They cautioned of potential consequences if these actions continue. The Red Sea serves as a crucial waterway linking the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean and is integral to global trade, facilitating approximately 12% of worldwide trade, according to the International Chamber of Shipping, ICS. This connectivity is vital for trade between Europe and Asia. Annually, approximately 20,000 ships traverse the Suez Canal, the primary entry and exit point for vessels in this region. Maersk, among other major global shipping entities, suspended its ship's passage twice recently due to operations in the area carried out by the Yemeni army. Initially planning to resume operations on December 24th, Maersk subsequently postponed its restart date to December 31st. Additionally, there have been reports of a significant development involving the Yemeni army employing advanced sea drones. An unmanned surface vessel, USV, reportedly launched from Yemen, approached U.S. Navy and commercial ships in the Red Sea, exploding within proximity. This incident occurred after the U.S. and 11 other countries urged Yemen's army to cease certain activities in the region, citing concerns and warning of potential repercussions. The recent incident involving the use of a drone ship to attempt an attack on commercial vessels in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden is a concerning development, marking the first reported attempt since the Israel-Hamas conflict began in October. Vice Admiral Brad Cooper, head of U.S. Naval Forces Central Command, acknowledged this occurrence, noting a series of 25 Yemeni operations on merchant vessels in the southern Red Sea and Gulf of Aden since mid-November. There's a concern that this persistent behavior poses challenges to regional stability and the safety of crucial maritime trade routes. The utilization of unmanned surface vessels, USVs, for such attacks signals a shift in conflict strategies, highlighting the adoption of unconventional methods to disrupt conventional security measures in the region. This incident underscores the vulnerability of commercial vessels, emphasizing the need for enhanced maritime security protocols in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. It's crucial to urge all involved parties to prioritize the safety of maritime activities and allow humanitarian aid to reach vulnerable populations affected by conflicts in the region, including Gaza. The Yemeni stance linking the cessation of attacks in the Red Sea to an end to the conflict in Gaza reflects their perspective on the situation. While addressing these concerns, it's essential to navigate diplomatic channels and seek resolutions that prioritize peace and stability for all involved parties. The involvement of various nations in the maritime coalition might be driven by a range of interests, and while security considerations might be among them, it's crucial to ensure that all actions align with efforts to promote stability and address humanitarian needs. Your support in sharing this information is appreciated. To raise awareness, please consider subscribing for updates on developments in Palestine. Until the next update, wishing peace for all affected by these conflicts.